Like you and I
Anyway,
got the memo. We have a dress code, the black T-shirt.
this was my uniform for a hot minute. I went all in on just buying the same black shirt for about a year straight.
I do the same thing. Like my favorite
Yeah.
color, the only thing I wear is black.
Right.
I wear dark because I have some dark suits and dark shirts, dark blue, black. It's just easy.
Dark's a good suit color for sure. Although
Yeah.
I think I had a couple lighter colored suits, but navy blue suit color for sure.
So I flew from New Jersey. I'm now in Utah. I stopped off to visit my dad, and then I'm going to go back home on Thanksgiving. I just came from a big learning and development meeting at our headquarters in New Jersey. You know what's interesting? I'm interviewing for a person to come on to my team.
Mhm.
I'm very specific on the criteria. I treat looking for a job much like a funnel. It's an employment funnel meant to weed out people who don't qualify. No different than a product or service. This is who it's for. It had to fit within the corporate ecosystem. I was pretty clear on who it's for. It's for somebody who has been in the real estate industry, who succeeded as an agent, leader, or operator. Somebody with a similar background who started out as an
Yeah.
agent, maybe opened a company, ran a company, knows what it's like to pay payroll and eat what you kill. If you survived as a real estate agent full time, fed yourself and got through, proving ground.
Yeah.
The job market right now is prime for people who actually have positions. I wouldn't spend my time applying for a job that my background and my experience and my skill set fit what is on there. Being on the other side of the coin, I don't even look at anyone. I get emails and references and other leaders calling me, promoting these other people. And I'm just like, no one's clearly read the job description.
Right.
And I think that's important for what you and I talk about because real estate agents and mortgage people, they're really good at not building out what they're looking, any type of lead generation. They're not building out a really good example or good explanation of what their services provide, who's the best candidate for it, how it's going to help that person. It's just like, hey, you want to get a loan? Call me. Hey, you want to sell a
Want to
house?
buy or sell your
Call
home?
me.
I'm your guy.
I
Work
answer my
out. Yeah.
phone.
Right.
That's a big thing. When you ask real estate professionals, a lot of them, what differentiates you? Well, I'm a hard
Yeah.
worker. Okay. Next, you think you're going to find someone that says I'm not a hard worker, that I'm lazy?
Right.
I answer my
Yeah.
phone. I'm a negotiator.
One of our client intake things for the loan officers is outside of good rates and good service, what value do you provide to the marketplace?
Took the most common, because if you wouldn't have
Yeah.
put those in there, they would
Yeah.
have added those. Then you'd have to spend time getting through those.
Yeah. Well, I do good service. You're like, well, yeah, that's expected. Like, if you're not coming to the table, by and large, you're selling money, it's a commodity, you're expected to provide good service. Okay, great. What else? And 80% of the people will respond like, well, I provide really good service, top-notch service. You're like, yeah, no, I understand that. That's expected. That's the baseline.
What does that mean? Tell me how it is that you provide really great service, because that seems to me as a very general term.
I've seen some really good examples of documented processes where people communicate in a tangible format. Like, here's our touch, here's what we're doing at this stage, here's what we're on this timeline. These are the expectations. Clearly, you have a documented process that exemplifies what you mean, which is key for most folks that are growing. Vast majority of people just wing it. I'm responsive. I'll answer on the weekends. I'll pick up my phone. That's bullshit. You pick it up maybe 20% of the time.
If it's an
There's
unidentified
few,
number, I can guarantee you that I pick it up.
right? I can't tell you how the Apple's spam filter, everything just goes straight to spam. Okay, well, that helps me out. You're not going to attack the phone. Love what you said about the recruiting funnel and lead funnel. It's absolutely front end acquisition, back end team acquisition, two funnels running if you're growing.
Do you remember what I did when I was looking for some appointment setters from the Philippines?
Yeah.
I set up a job post that took them to an online application form. Part of that application form was that they had to read a script. If you have a really thick accent, you can't be an appointment setter. It has nothing to do with you not being able to communicate. So
Can
it's fine.
hear you.
Look, I get it. You can speak English.
Yeah.
Cool. It's not about that. It's can you speak it to a level where you can be persuasive? Because if you have a broken English, if English or whatever language is not your native tongue, and you can just get by, you're not going to be able to sell anything. You're not going to be able to convince anything. If
To a
all you can
degree,
do
I
is,
will I will come back on that. I find that there's an effective sweet spot for those folks, like just sales development. They can get through to first touch, schedule a call, or first touch, verify general interest.
the
They
thing,
could do that well enough because have the same script, same objection. I tend to take a little bit longer time horizon on those folks. It's like, hey, if you can nail down these 3, 4 objections, effective, and work on your enunciation and certain things. Obviously, there's a certain cap that those folks will go to, but at the same time, those aren't folks that you're necessarily looking for to grow past a certain point internally anyway.
my thought process about that in 2025, thinking about how that used to be, and I agree with you 100% that you should always take the most common objections and actually that person
Yeah.
can make sure that they're good at rebuttaling that. But here's where I'm at, and this is what I did as an operator when I operated a real estate company. I created my sizzle video when I was operating the company. My big thing was it wasn't so much as me trying to reach them. I wanted to make sure that they knew that I existed. And that's where my note card program came up. I was writing anyone who closed a transaction, listed a property, or put something under contract that lived within 5 miles of my office. Number
Yeah.
one, I think they're poaching. Number two, they should be at my office. So I would write them a note card and say, hey, congratulations, tough market. I saw that you put this under contract. I saw you brought this to market. Great job. I'm going to let my staff know. That's all I did. And then I'd send it to them with a business card in there because I knew from consumer behavior, they're going to creep it. So the video that I made sure, you know, so you ever watch Naked and Afraid or one of those survival movies?
No.
Are you familiar with trapping animals? A
Yeah, yeah.
snare? Okay, so what they do is they find these rabbit tracks and this path that rabbits go, and they set a snare on it. When the rabbit goes, it's a snare. That's really what I'm looking at the way that we set up funnels for. So going back into the questions, I believe that if you're getting the same questions every single time, that should not be something that you should wait to answer verbally. That should be something in the pre context in a video. Dan Kennedy said that before you go on to an appointment, you need to have them at a 9 out of 10. It's more likely a signing ceremony, which means all of the common questions, all of the common
Right.
objections, everything that, all of those should be answered. And Google says that 88% of all consumers, they've already made their decision on what they're going to buy and who they're going to work with based on their online research. So when you tie all that stuff together, technology is really eliminating these low entry level jobs. They're doing it with architects, programmers, and lawyers. They're going to have to figure out a way how to survive in these entry level positions. They're going to have to upskill.
Right. I love what you're saying, archetyping your funnel and handling objections. We've been testing simple survey post webinar. So sales funnel for acquisition, webinar, application. On the application, there's some basic questions. Based on those questions, sending over specific videos and things cures the most common objections, bottlenecks for this type of folk. It seems to be proving it quite well. That's effort to get to 9 out of before the actual sales call.
Yeah. And I'm glad you brought this up because one of the things that I'm going to write, probably create a video on, is the difference between an objection, a question, and a condition. What I find is that people who haven't spent a career in real estate or in sales, everything the consumer says differently is automatically classified as an objection. It's like to maybe refinance my house. And I'm like, well, what kind of points do you charge and what rate can you get me? That's not an objection. That's a bona fide question for me to determine what value you provide. The rate's going to be relatively the same. The points are going to be relatively the same. But to understand value, you need to know what you are going to get and what it is going to cost you. Until a consumer has those two variables, they can't determine value.
Yeah.
Real estate agents, salespeople, what do you charge? What's your monthly fee? How many points do you charge? What kind of commission do you charge? It's automatically classified as an objection. I'm going to break that down. And
It's funny you bring that up. Anytime the very first question that somebody asks is, what's the cost? What's the fee? Instant disqualification. You will not even get an opportunity to go further.
you do that?
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Yeah. It's just like you don't even know, like you said, there's two components to being able to make a decision on something. What you get and what you pay.
Yes. Go
Right?
ahead.
Yeah. It's like, hey, the cost for what? What do you
What do you
get?
provide?
I have no idea what you're even looking for. Generally, the training 9 times out of 10, it's just like in Austin Powers, 1 bazillion jillion dollars. And move.
Saying that if somebody shows up and asks you, what does it cost? You're no longer interested in speaking with them.
If anytime during the conversation before they have gone through a sales process, like,
Okay.
depending
Before,
if there's like, hey, how much is, you're like, well, I don't know, what are you looking for? I mean, there's ways of navigating those conversations, but I've done enough data on stuff that it's proven 100% waste of time.
so you're saying that before they know anything, the first thing in their mind is, what does it cost?
Yep.
So now I'm
What it
following.
what does it cost if and when they do come on board, they end up being horrible clients?
Well, looking at it from a real estate data perspective, there's 4% of sellers. The number one thing they're looking for in an agent is based on cost. The most important factor for 4% of sellers is cost. Now, that 4% doesn't get broken down. Most of them, I speculate, are looking for the lowest cost. There are some people who are looking for the highest cost. I have some friends that judge everything just by how much it costs. They think because it's the
Right.
most, there's that pricing psychology. You got to witness me do this as I fine tune the whole recruiting and onboarding process at every level I was at in real estate. Before I went back into learning and development, the last time I was operating a company, I was recruiting 120 agents a year and I kept 60. I had a 90% sign ratio when they came into the office. I believe the reason why I did that is I wanted them to be the most knowledgeable consumer about what I do before I meet with them. This includes what we do, how we do it, how much it costs, our comp plan, and our office fee. This is all of our stuff. Because what I found before I did that, and I had been doing it for several years before that, I would spend 2 hours in a conference room showing them the office, talking at them, selling them, and it would ultimately almost always lead to I need to think about it. Whereas when I went to the video, which is still up, I think you've seen it, the value prop, the value stacking video, then it went into the how much does it cost? Number one, I made that video required before I would meet with anyone in person. And so a lot of meetings got canceled. I had a high cancellation ratio. But the people that showed up in person, they just signed up. After about 6 months, people were just magnetically attracting. They were just coming in. And the reason why is because I didn't want to sell them. I'm like, this
Yeah.
is what we do. This is what
Right.
we provide. This is how we're different. This is how it costs. If you're looking
Right.
for something cheaper, go over there, but you're not getting this. If you want to get this and you don't want to pay this, go to a third party, but you're going to be paying out of pocket whether you close
Right.
or not.
People love to buy and they hate to be sold. So when your folks coming in, they were buyers.
They were qualified buyers. But the other thing with the pricing psychology is that you're selling a Ferrari. So is it so bad that someone with a Honda budget is asking you how much it will cost?
Right.
There's a psychology to that too. It used to be that we had to spend time back where you and I met. Back in the day, we were doing mortgage assistance. Like the way that you were operating your big operation, you did it in a very efficient way based on the technology at the time. Could
Right.
you imagine what you could do now? You would just have a cash register ringing all the time because people would be rolling through the funnel.
Yeah, that would be it. It still hurts me today, the of just insane waste that place at that time because it was, I mean, gosh, we were using paper sheets to take inbound phone call leads on.
I mean, that was what, 2009,
Yeah.
2010. So, I mean, it could have been done.
Yeah, oh yeah, 100%.
A lot of,
We had
yeah.
CRMs and systems and tracking stuff, but at the same time, we're so busy that keep up with phone calls and stuff to the point where trying to micromanage folks was just but interesting
So
times for sure.
here's the interesting part with that is when I was in New Jersey, I was talking to some colleagues and the topic of another colleague having a black belt came up. I have a black belt in Kempo. And there were some younger ones there. He asked, what's the best art? I didn't say Kempo. I didn't say what I did. Now, if I were to go back and do it all over again, I would just go into Brazilian Jiu Jitsu and I do my Thai. That's all I would do. But that's 30 years of Kempo,
Evolution.
an all encompassing self defense system evolving over time. We also had to take into consideration the type of salespeople that we had. We had to make sure that it was easy for them to understand and very simple to use. But now, like Brazilian Jiu Jitsu wasn't even a thing 30 years ago. And now that's just the evolution. So you put that into business and you're
People.
thinking, like, did we have landing pages? Yes, we did. Did we have YouTube? Yes, we did. But you know what? They're not the same things. They're called the same things now, but they're not the same. The format that you use, the lighting that you use, and now we have artificial intelligence. There's so many things that I want to do that artificial intelligence is making me do 10 times, 100 times faster.
Seriously.
Have you checked out Grok 4.1 yet?
I checked out Gym 3 the other day. I have my daily disciplines, but I'm carving out dedicated time every day to make sure that I'm touching on at least one environment to have a broader scope of usage.
Hey, that's
Really
awesome
impressed.
thing that's come up. So if
Mm,
you Google Brett Matsura, it's very clean. My LinkedIn's very clean. My YouTube's very clean. It's getting cleaner. Dude, we have a lot of videos. Like I haven't realized how many of these we have done. I'm using AI and turning our conversations into blog content. I'm really working on my SEO. I think SEO is going to come back around full circle because AI is using it to grab
yeah,
content and information. So what is old again is new again.
right.
We have a lot of videos, a lot of great content. I was looking at just starting to add more content and I noticed I had a treasure trove of stuff on my YouTube that I'd only labeled as Luke and Brett in the description. I haven't optimized it, didn't do keywords, didn't do anything. So it didn't get reached. I'm going through that and pushing our content through.
I think we touched on this a while ago, and it was probably around Gemini or VEO3 where YouTube was starting to incorporate more of their AI editing directly into it, or at least that's where my mind went from the treasure trove of YouTube videos.
We have it documented because we've been doing it for this long, is that when Chat GPT 1 came out, I'm starting from our newest and starting to walk back on it as I go forward, which is weird because I'm not doing any backdating on the blog. I'm going forward on it. I'm taking our videos, transcribing them, finding a thread and hyper focusing on that for my content. We have a lot of good things that we're talking about that we need to use and capitalize on. Like this This is not going live on mine right now. This is going live on yours right now, but not on mine. I'm going to take this, throw it into Descript, find out the thread of the content, create a blog, and send it out. I'm going to get a 2-week buffer on that and then cut that. And guess who's teaching me all this? AI. I got Grok teaching me this. I've got
Yeah.
Grok, Chad, Ben, Gemini. They're my consultants.
You should go live on YouTube anyway, do what you want, but just to have it there, you can always go back and repurpose, take that and throw it in and reuse it.
What
It's
do you
not
mean?
going to hurt anything. You can go live on your channel and then whatever your process was that you were planning on doing, still do that.
So are you saying go live and then turn it off when you
Just let it be. A cleanup.
just throw the
Take this,
thumbnail?
take the same
That's a good
thing,
idea.
slap some thumbnail on it, spruce it up, post it again as a regular one, and on.
I got to ask my consultants on seeing what that would do with the algorithm. With
I
my
mean,
output.
that's just a guess. Generally penalized for more content.
Yeah, I may just do that. I was doing that initially, and I consciously changed it for a reason. I just can't remember what the reason was.
Probably wanted to edit something and got.
Are you using the social media scheduler in Go High Level?
Yes, more and more so.
Dude, that thing
So
is
right,
money.
I definitely slept on that quite a bit. We did a lot for our clients, but we are starting to do more of the stories feature for our users, more direct call to action type stuff for stories. And you can just have that stuff scheduled out indefinitely almost.
Yeah,
I got a new girl plugged in there on mine who's using it more.
you got a VA doing it.
Yeah.
Full-time VA for you?
Full time is part time. I want to say 4 to 6 hours.
And are
Taking
you
content
what are you paying Philippines right now? US dollars.
anywhere like 3 to 6 ish, I
Okay.
think.
Technical skills, it goes up. Kind of social media stuff. Follows.
Yeah.
I like the 3.
I usually start people out on a trial basis at a lower amount just to see if it's a good
How
fit.
big is your VA team now?
So, like client success, fulfillment side of things, including content, I want to say still pretty lean, maybe 8 or 10
Hmm.
folks.
And that's full on VA. You're not doing anything stateside in person.
I have a couple client success that are native English speakers. They actually are not stateside,
Got it.
living abroad. So affordability, lifestyle is super agreeable. They're like, I only need to make $3,000 a month and live like a king here.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, that's great.
Yeah. Sold.
US US citizen on $36,000.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I would want to move to a country to take advantage of the income you receive from the States and a lower cost of living abroad.
right. Like you're touching on earlier, it's that recruiting funnel. How are we recruiting our front end or back?
Yeah. Let's talk about that next week. I'm going to make a note. Let's talk about the VA process. I think that would be helpful for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And more of the funnel. I'll kind of share my funnel. I don't have any current VAs on staff right now, although just by talking to you, knowing what I've been doing and going on this trip. Now I'm not traveling for the rest of the year, so I have a lot of time to start building out some systems. I think that bringing back on a VA as a content manager, not just social media, using the Go High Level content manager, I'll probably end up doing that. All right, man. Well, as always, good to talk to you. It's Thanksgiving next week. Are we going to do this Friday, or do you push on to the following?
Your call, let me know. I think I should be flexible for that day.
Let's push. Let's push. I fly back home on Thanksgiving. I pick wife and kids up from the airport from Vancouver on Friday. I don't know what time. That'll work out for me, though. Let me find out what time they're coming in. And if it's later, I'm going to be at home anyways. So I'd love to hammer out that VA thing.
Sounds
All right.
good.
Have a good one.
Get it.